So I was pregnant with my third child. It was early 2007, and I found a little lump on the bottom of my foot. I thought it was a plantar's wart, so I just left it. But then as I got bigger into my pregnancy, it became a lot more painful, and I didn't understand why I had such a hard time walking. And then they just told me, like, well, you have cancer. It had little tricklings up where the kneecap is, and they just said the best thing to do is just to remove it from above the knee. I'll never forget that day. It was like devastating. I just lost my mind because, you know, for 33 years of my life, I was like an able-bodied person, and all of a sudden I'm not going to be able-bodied anymore. I can't do what I used to do before. I didn't know anything about rehab with regards to being a disabled person. You lose your leg. I didn't know there was a whole process that was all involved when you become a disabled person. So they sent me to West Park. I think the program at the time was about 6 to 8 weeks. Once I left West Park, you're given a training leg. So I went home with the training leg, and they gave me a quote for my definitive leg, which was an exorbitant amount of money. And unfortunately, my insurance company wasn't going to pay for it because they considered it a luxury item. It was faster for me to get around on crutches than to try and kind of limp with my training leg, which was super duper uncomfortable. In all of my life, the one thing that I always wanted was to just walk my kids to school. It was the one thing I wanted more than anything on this earth. I started working for this couple, my neighbors, and then I would come into work and they were like, Patty, how come you don't have a leg? And I'm like, because I can't afford one. They're like, well, why don't we get you a leg? Why don't we just try and crowdfund it? It literally changed the course of my life. And once I got the funds, then I was like, okay, I guess it's time to go to West Park and get a quote. And the crazy thing with me going back to West Park was every single nurse that was on the floor when I went back to West Park 9 years later, they were the same nurses that helped me when I lost my leg when I first came there. The staff were amazing, absolutely amazing. They were like moms, right? When you're there, so you just felt really comfortable. It's almost like a second home, and it's almost like it's your extended family. Because when you go there, it doesn't seem now as this dismal place. When I go there, I know that things are changing and things are progressing for the better.
21.
It was such a big deal. I put my leg on and it was like a beautiful day, first day of school in the fall. And then I just remember, I'm like, this is really happening. I'm like actually gonna walk my kids to school. Then I just remember I got to the school and then I got to see them off in their line and I just hugged them and I was just like, I couldn't stop crying. In all of my life, the one thing that I always wanted was to just walk my kids to school. It was the one thing I wanted more than anything on this earth. And if I died the next day, it would be okay because I walked my kids to school. I got my life back from that place, and everything moving forward is just so much better. It's not, oh my God, I'm going to West Park to be a disabled person. Like, no, I'm going to West Park to get my life back and be an able-bodied person.